Hey guys, Brian at Two Indians. Hope you guys are doing well today. Today I've got a whole bunch of stuff planned that I'm going to do for the bike. I don't know if we're going to get it all into one video, but I'm going to try. We are going to put on some new toe pegs. That seems pretty simple, right? As you can see from the shape, they're just super simple. You bolt them on, no adjustments. So that should be easy. The hard part today is going to be doing the air filter. And as most of you probably know, that means that you have to pull off the tank. So while I have the tank off, there are some other things that I want to do. I want to run some cabling up to the front of the bikes for some Custom Dynamics underglow light kit that I've got. So stick around, we're going to have some fun today. You're probably going to hear me cuss. So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is remove the seat, and that is accomplished by removing these side panels, which just pop on and off. Then we're going to use a 6mm hex tool. And then the seat just slides back, lift up the front, and off you go. Then we remove this bolt here, and we've got another one on the other side. And then we're gonna remove this really unsightly screw here. I hate that screw. Lift this up and then push it forward, and then you have to finagle it out. Now, I will caution you to be very careful on this part, because the last time I did this, I scratched. These are not clean edges here, and I scratched the top of my fuel cap, and I was very upset about that. And then now we're going to disconnect the top of the fuel tank, which is just basically unplugging some wires, which I use a tiny little flathead for that. Push down on this tab here, pull that out. So you just push on this little white button here, you push that in like that, and that releases the fuel connection down there. So it's great because the fuel pump is located inside the tank, and you don't have to worry about fuel spilling out or anything when you go to remove the tank. Let's pull off this fuel line for ventilation. Now we should be free to lift the tank off. So this is a 2022, so the fuel line and some other stuff that runs up to the front used to be zip tied to the bottom of the tank, and it was a pain in the ass when I pulled the tank off the last time to unhook it, right? Because it's all zip tied together under the tank and you can't lift it up until the zip ties are cut. I think I've heard that they've changed the way that that works now. Hopefully on your bike they're not together, but on mine I've already taken them apart. So let's see if this just comes off. Now you just kind of lift up on the back and slide it backwards, and look at that, voila, the tank is off. Now I'm just going to set this on the ground over here. So now we're going to work on getting the air filter out, which is right in here. In order to get this out, it looks like we've got to remove this whole piece, and this is in the way, so I'm going to cut this tie wrap right here, which allows us to slip that to the side. We've got some brake lines here, so we're just going to try to move these out of the way. We've also got a tie wrap up in here, and now that will allow us to move this out of the way. And then we're going to take our 6mm again and remove this. It'd be nice if they just put like a door on here that you could open, but not the case. Be careful that you don't hit your dash with your tools. All right. And this is just going to slip right off. All right. Well, I have to say, that looks pretty nasty. And if there were ever a reason that I would be losing horsepower, this might be it. So it's going to go in this direction, and you've got the bracket right here. And we're just going to lay this on top like that. And you see these grooves here, they go inside these slots in the rail, right? It kind of fits together as one nice piece. And then we're just going to slide it in like so. It's a little more snug than the factory one, but everything lines up nicely. And now let's just button it up. And that is how you change your air filter. Reverse the process, and you're good to go. So while I've got the tank off, I'm going to adjust the handlebars to the Challenger. I've got the KST bars on here. I put them on as soon as I got the bike, probably about a year ago. And they're just like a tiny bit high, like I'm probably only going to drop them 1/4 of an inch or maybe 1/2 of an inch. It probably doesn't sound like much, but I think it's going to make the ride just a little bit more comfortable. It's easy to do once you have the tank off, and I'm going to show you how to do it now. So there's 2 mounting points right here, and you've got 2 screws that go up in on this side, and on the other side you have 2 screws that go down. So just to make it simple, we're just gonna loosen up these 2 screws here, and it's gonna allow us to roll the bars back just a little bit. You're gonna use a T40 hex tool to accomplish this. I'll loosen that one up. We don't want to loosen it too much because we don't want the bars just flopping down on it. There we go. I think that's all we need. So let's tighten them back up. Sorry guys, I do not use a torque wrench. I don't think they're really necessary on something like this. I think common sense tells you how tight these need to be. All right, that is how you adjust your handlebars. All right, so the other thing we're gonna do is I've been wanting to put this light kit on my bike, but I've been waiting to take the tank off because you have to run cabling up under the tank. So Custom Dynamics, who is a sponsor of ours, and I have treated them not nearly as well as they have treated me, but I'm finally getting around to it, and I'm gonna get at least part of this done. So they actually sent me a plan on how to wire the bike and get the cables in the right place. And so in order to do that, I need a 24-inch extension and I need a Y cable. And that's what's gonna go into the tank for right now. And then we'll get the tank back on and work on some of the other stuff. Okay, so truth be told, I didn't read exactly correctly. What they want me to use is a PG24 extension with a PG12, which would give me 36 inches. So I like how these go together because they have a little positive connection tab. See this little tab here? That makes a positive connection on the top here. So when you stick them together, they theoretically kind of click together. All right, that's cool. Let's try that. All right, so let's button all this stuff back up. Put a new tie wrap over here. I'm going to put these cables in place. All right, so we got our wire in place for custom dynamics. And I put a tie wrap here just to kind of hold the wire in place. And we want to get these brake lines buttoned back up so we can get the tank back on. Neatness counts, folks. Another tie wrap here. You know, the worst thing that you can have happen is when you take your bike in for service and some tech comes out to you later and says, man, what kind of hack was working on your bike? That is embarrassing. All right, so we just kind of want to get these fuel lines and cables and such up out of the way so they don't flop back around while we're trying to put the tank back on. Now, I will tell you that, so you see this little rubber grommet right there? That's where the tank kind of slides onto to hold the front in place, because obviously it's not bolted down. And so these fuel lines and the tank ventilation hose, you have to keep that up above that. If it falls below it, you'll have your fuel lines hanging below that, and you don't want that. So you want to just kind of finagle them into place and check and make sure nothing's out of the way. And then let's pick up the tank. And we're just going to kind of slide this thing right into place. You want to see what the bottom of the tank looks like. And we'll just kind of slide this into place. Should go in pretty easily as long as you got everything out of the way. And while we're working on it, let's just snap the fuel line into place. Tank ventilation. And we'll align these rear bolts. There we go. You got to kind of wiggle it around a little bit just to make sure these line up. And that's probably for a sensor right there. And this is probably for the fuel pump power. All right. Bueno. Now the hard part is getting this into position, and you have to be careful because some of these pieces and parts here can scratch the top, which I did before. I scratched the top of my fuel filler here. So all of these cables and wires have to feed out through here. So we just kind of want to be careful here about how this goes in. Don't want to scratch anything. Just kind of feel around down in there. And then it'll go on. Uh-oh, look at that. I slipped that off. Okay. And then that goes forward, and then it kind of just slides right back once you get that little nut in the groove. There we go. And it falls right into place. And then we take our 4mm, slide this on, and that is buttoned into place. All right, I'm going to cinch these up a little tighter now. All right, piece of cake. All right, guys, that's how you install an air filter on your Indian Challenger or Pursuit, probably. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. 2 Indians out. Hey guys, sorry we didn't have time to get to the installation of the Zero 3D toe pegs. We're just going to have to do it another time. This video is running too long. Hey, if you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook, make sure you check us out there too, because we're posting all kinds of photos and video clips all the time. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.